Oh my gosh, it's so good to be back. Why do you even need a talk after that?
On a clear day.
Just amazing.
Your excuse.
All right, so are you ready to romp?
Yeah.
Let me see if this is working. Yeah. So first of all, let me just remind you, if you're here for the first time, to just give you a clue what's about to happen. So in Unity, we've talked about ministers having two functions. One is to comfort the afflicted, okay? And the other is to afflict the comforted.
That's true.
While my real doctorate is in dentistry, my specialty in Unity is afflicting the comfortable. And I don't know, when I showed up in my room upstairs, this was facing outward. So someone knew. So I'm inviting you to open your hearts and minds. Some of you maybe already believe what I'm going to say. Some of you maybe not. Some of you may be firm believers in the law of attraction. That's okay. I invite everyone to open your hearts and minds to this now moment. Because we often think of spiritual growth as finding answers to our questions, right? However, we often ignore the necessity of questioning our answers. Because the answers you had yesterday didn't serve you. And that's why you're here today, right? I think of my path through traditional Christianity. Those answers were fine in their time frame. They're not fine today. So are you ready to start the process?
Yes.
Okay, so you're only required to listen and understand. You're not required to believe. So, what's up with the law of attraction? This is something I learned a long time ago. And I thought it was how things work until I looked into it. So first of all, when we talk about law, we got to understand what we mean by that term. So spiritual law explains how mind works, how consciousness works. And they actually use principles. So we say laws are principle in action. And laws depend on those principles. It is because the principles are that which do not change, just like the laws. And the principles are what we use to manifest. So then, what's a law and what's a rule? So when I did my research in the historical writings of Unity, I kept seeing this word law, 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 and that they were immutable, but yet there was talk about laws which I knew I could break. You can't break a spiritual law. Just like you can't break the law of gravity. You either use it to walk or fall down, but you're still using it. Planes are using the law of gravity to fly. In fact, the plane is in a controlled fall. Yikes. Right? So there are laws and there are rules. And rules tell us the best way to use laws. And one of them, for example, is the law of tithing. Because I can choose not to tithe, can't I? However, it's a rule that tells us how to use law. And so when we look at the law of attraction, one of the questions we have to ask is it a law or a rule? So attributes of laws, they're exact. The laws of mind are just as exact and undeviating as the laws of mathematics or music or gravity. They're unchangeable, immutable, and they're unchallengeable. Do you ever think about that? So the law of attraction says this. It's the belief that by focusing on positive or negative thoughts, people can bring positive or negative experiences into their life. You've heard this before, haven't you? Okay. So, in one realm, it's true and immutable. In another realm, it's more like a rule. In the law of consciousness, The thoughts we hold in mind do produce after their kind in consciousness. If you hold a negative thought, you experience a negative thought. If you hold a negative thought, it affects your body. However, your negative thinking is not causative into the outer realm. If you're holding a negative thought, there is no guarantee you will have a negative event because of it. And the same is true of the positive. Law of attraction, really? So let's look at how we talk about things. So the law of attraction is often talked about as the mighty magnet, and like attracts like. Well, magnetic poles come in pairs that attract and repel each other, much as electric charges do. A magnet attracts its opposite, doesn't it? Do you ever think about that? So why do we talk about this law of attraction as being like a mighty magnet? And in people we say opposites attract, then we usually drive each other crazy, don't we? But I think of all the people I heard that one likes the bedroom cold and one likes the bedroom warm, and how that's a constant battle. But we do talk about birds of feather flocking together, don't we? So what I have to say is that if birds of a feather flock together and opposites attract, the problem isn't the attraction. The problem is what we do with it. What we do with it. So let's just look. So if the concept is true, then it ought to be true at all times, shouldn't it? The law of attraction should work absolutely all the time if it really is a law in the outer realm, correct? Yes. Okay, so how many are here during Y2K? Okay, all right. Do you remember the buildup of that? Holy crap! People were going crazy. So I was on the retreat team at Unity Village, and we had a...
Yeah, I was there.
You were there, right? We had a retreat, and we were wondering, well, is all hell going to break loose? Well, we're at Unity. It'll be all heaven will break loose. Right? Break loose. So think about that. All of the thousands, maybe millions of people thinking and feeling something drastically bad is going to be happen at the stroke of midnight, 2000.
Right.
What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Except maybe some celebrating. Hooray, nothing happened, right? But if the law worked the way we talked about it, and all those minds and consciousness holding something bad is going to happen in the outer realm, if that were true, it would have happened. But it didn't, did it? I'll tell you what did happen, though. All of those people thinking and feeling something bad was going to happen was experiencing badness within them, weren't they? And we know that negative thinking affects the body physiologically. So it wasn't that nothing happened, it's that nothing happened in the outer. Okay? So the law of attraction is really about what we're thinking and our internal experiences, and much less about outer events. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. Right? Instead of being told by metaphysical teachers that if you're not getting the outer effect, you're doing something wrong, what if it just doesn't work that way? And people are always saying, well, you know, if you have a vibration, you will attract people of that vibration as if I have control or will over them and I pull them into. Really? So then we don't believe in free will? You see the contradiction there? And then a lot of these people who have taught me this understand Jesus' life and his teachings, but they don't think about this. So you don't need to read the scripture. But Jesus attracted disciples, didn't he? But did he just sit there thinking and feeling and want disciples? Right? And they came to him? No. Tell me, what did he do?
Recruited.
He recruited.
He went out
Who said recruited? I've never heard it said that way.
He did.
He recruited, right? He's walking along. He gets to see the Galilee. He sees Peter and his brother playing with the nets. And he sees something in them that is a potential. And he attracts himself to them. And he asks them to join him. And they joined him, right? Gotta remember to do this up here. So what about his followers? Well, his followers saw something in him. Yes? Okay. Did them knowing something in Jesus bring Jesus to them? No. What did they have to do? They had to chase after him on the mountainside, right? So those are examples of people, Jesus and his followers and the disciples, who had a positive vibe about him, right? But if Jesus only had a positive vibe, why did these guys show up? Because by the law of attraction, as I was taught it when I was younger, was that I had to have that negativity in me to attract that negativity to me. You've heard this, haven't you?
Yeah.
Bull. Okay? It doesn't work, does it? Because certainly the Sadducees and Pharisees were after him, weren't they?
Yeah.
Can you think of the other group?
Zealots.
Zealots, yes, yes. How about this group? The Romans.
Yeah.
Okay, the Romans. They were after him too. Now, how can that be? The question is, did Jesus have both vibrations in him? Or was something else going on? I submit to you something else was going on. So in Law of Attraction Part 2, next week, we're going to be talking about something I call the Law of Affinity. And how it really works. And how you can work it. Because we got to let go of this idea that God does things for you and God is using you. What we've got to realize is that we are divine.
Amen.
And we are using our divinity. I release, I let go, I let Spirit run my life. That's the old paradigm, folks. Spirit doesn't run you. You use Spirit. I release, I let go. I use my Spirit to manifest my life. That's what's really happening. And the truth is, are you using it from the awareness of your oneness? Or are you using it from the awareness of separation? Because when I say, I let Spirit run my life, I'm reinforcing separation within me. And so are you. So that whole song is beautiful. It's traditional theology. Can't we rewrite it? Can't we amp it up? Can't we make it better? To speak the truth, that absolute truth, that highest teaching. I call it Unity Prime. Right? Because it's nothing new. Chuck talked about this. That's Charles. Charles Fillmore.
Chuck.
So did Mert. So we're all excited. And I'm excited you're doing this class on the three faces of God. Charles Fillmore talked about that in the 1930s in an unpublished book. It's amazing. So all this idea that we use God and the way the law of attraction really works is in the writings. So is all the other crap. So it's our job to discover what really works and to be what we really are from our who-ness. So see you next week.
Oh.